Recently, I've been covering some things here on this channel about certain things happening in the African world in respect to France and some of its former colonies. There is Mali, there's Burkina Faso, and of course, the big story has been Niger. Niger has been trying to establish the junta there and trying to get France out of its borders. And they've been having civil wars, some warring there, things like that in the area. There's also a lot of conflict going on in the African continent. It has been going on for some time. Ethiopia and Eritrea, the Congo. I mean, we could talk about certain parts of Nigeria. And when those things happen, the world goes, shh, nobody talks about it. However, in other parts of the world, most notably Europe, when there are issues of war and strife, the world stands with Ukraine against Russia. You even have Africans saying, pray for Ukraine. There are even Africans who were being abused in Ukraine, trying to get out of Ukraine. When I was in Poland, some of the Africans were stuck in Poland, trying to get to Poland as refugees in Poland. But they were being abused in Ukraine, trying to get to Poland. Many of those students that were studying in the Ukraine, Nigeria even sent over a big aircraft trying to get these students back to Nigeria and also in Ghana. But the world was saying, pray for Ukraine, while Africans in Ukraine were being abused, trying to get out of Ukraine, being forced to sit aside as Ukrainians got on the bus. But that's okay. We understand how it works. Now there's a new issue, which is not really a new issue. It's an issue that has been foregoing for many years, 70 years or more, and that is Israel versus Palestine. And as we know, they're back at a war. And Israel and Palestine are both making a lot of the headline news. People who are supporting Israel, people who are supporting Palestine. You know, right now, even Dave Chappelle has come under some fire for saying things about Israel. And then there's like people like D.L. Hughley, who's even talked about it because, hey, Israel is upset that certain celebrities are not speaking up for them. And this is what D.L. Hughley is saying.
The Israeli government right now is taking the time to like call out celebrities who are Palestinian, and they're saying they're not condemning the actions.
Here's the thing. I have no doubt that what Israel has the right to defend itself. I think that what Hamas did was an abomination. But I also can hold in my head the idea that there are people in Palestine who are rich too. And I refuse to believe that every Palestinian, every person that's trapped in Gaza is a terrorist. And I don't think it's appropriate to believe that one group of people has the corner market on humanity.
So here's some of the commentary that we have been seeing, but what about the black world? What about Africa? And I want to bring up two people who have two different perspectives, but they're pretty much going to say the same thing. The first person is Tariq Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed is not a person who is a Pan-African. He's a person who realizes his roots are from Africa, but for whatever reason, because of the beef between the diaspora and certain people from the continent of Africa or even in America, Tariq Nasheed has associated himself with Pan-Africanism, and he has something that is called hashtag FBA, Foundational Black Americans, right? And then there's somebody else who disagrees with Tariq Nasheed in the past, and it even got personal, Dr. Umar Johnson, who I would say he's one of the biggest voices for Pan-Africanism in the world. And I want you to hear what they both say when they are asked about the Israel conflict with Palestine. Let's first start off with Dr. Umar Johnson.
Peace and Pan-Africanism, peace and Pan-Africanism. First of all y'all who got a problem with me because I said I'm focused on black people's problems, well, guess what? You can stay mad. I'm focused on black people's problems. Last time I checked, I was the creator of Unapologetically African. Last time I checked, I'm the founder of Unapologetically Black. That's my concept. That's my movement that y'all done ran with, talking about you unapologetically African, but you afraid to say that you worried about your people's problems. Ain't nobody helping us. You got 27 million Africans in the Congo, displaced, environmental issues, hunger, poor health care. You got 1 million Ethiopians who been You got Sudanese who have died. Ain't nobody said nothing about the Sudanese. Ain't nobody said nothing about the Ethiopians. Ain't nobody said nothing about the Congolese. But you want me to cry tears for the Arabs? Listen, I hope the Arabs in the West Bank in Gaza, I hope they get all they get. I hope they are protected. I hope nobody dies. I hope those babies' lives are safe. I hope the women are cared for. I hope that there's no bloodshed, no violence. But if you think I'm going to take time out of struggling for African people, if you think I'm going to stop my agenda to liberate my people to go cry for people who don't cry for me, if you think I'm going to stop what I'm doing and pay attention to what's going on over there when y'all don't even pay attention to what's going on in Africa. Y'all don't pay attention to what's going on in Ethiopia. Y'all don't pay attention to what's going on in the Congo. The greatest humanitarian crisis in the world is in the Congo, not the West Bank. I said the greatest humanitarian crisis in the world is in the Congo, not the West Bank, not the Gaza Strip, not Israel, but in the Democratic Republic of the.
And now let's start with Mr. Tariq Nasheed, who's being asked a question about supporting Palestine.
Question: why do you have such an isolationist policy when it comes to the Israeli-Palestine conflict?
I have a what policy?
Like you're basically you're just like, I'm neither on either side. I'm just like, I'm minding my own business.
Right. I'm just giving the same energy. Same energy. You know, treat others as they treat you. I'm treating them the same way they treat us.
Don't you think it's, the enemy of the enemy is my friend policy is better?
How about the golden rule? I'm going to treat everybody like they treat us. When shit going on over here with us, ain't nobody saying nothing. Ain't nobody helping us. Ain't nobody doing nothing. So I'm going to let them do what they do. They let us do what we do. We'll let them do what they do. Why is it our obligation to hop up and put a cape on?
Well, it's not so much that you have to put a cape on. It's like you're bringing more allies to your side, because there's one side that's clearly, being a culture vulture to your, culture. And
which side is that?
I think it's very clear which side that is.
I don't know. Which one you're talking about?
Because the side that has the most music producers in the industry.
Oh, okay. Because when I look at both sides, it's looking kind of funny. And I talked about this the other day because when we have police officers who are trained to whoop down on us, they get trained over there in Israel. When we go in certain stores, some of these store owners who call the cops on us are Palestinian. The cops, the people who called the police on George Floyd were Palestinian. There was a Palestinian serial killer running around Flint, stabbing black folks. A lot of these little liquor stores that's in these neighborhoods exploiting us and calling the cops and beating us down. Some of these are Palestinians. So
yeah, but what does that have to do with the movie itself? Like, I don't see any Palestinians getting involved in the hip hop industry except DJ Khaled.
Yeah, he's in the industry, but hell, the music industry is run by a whole bunch of different people. But that's neither here nor there. All of them are anti-us. So why should we put on the cape for any of them?
No, I'm not saying to put on the cape. I'm saying to kind of like, gain more allies in the fight. Especially
what allies? I mean, they've had 1,000,000 years to be allies. If they haven't been allies to us now, they're not going to start. We've been put.
Now, don't get me wrong. We are all humans. We have a love for humanity. Humanity is very important. I have friends who are not just African or black. I have friends of different cultures and different creeds. In fact, one of the people who helped me get to where I am today was Dr. Patrick Brown, PhD in anatomy. When he was at the UC Berkeley postbac, he allowed me to get into the postbac, which allowed me to go to medical school. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be where I am today in that regard. So listen, there are people who are not black that I care about, and definitely I have friends from Palestine. I have friends who are from Israel. But the point is this, the question is this, as a whole, when there are problems with black people in black America, if you're FBA, let's just deal with that. African American, just like me. What people are talking about our issues? Now, don't get me wrong. We do have sympathetic people who are sympathetic to our issues. And we've even had Jews fight for us for civil rights. We've had, Jewish leaders who helped the South African ANC. We understand that. But as a whole, what people care about what's going on in the black community, we can say that many don't, right? And then also, when it comes to the continent of Africa, if you're on the Pan-African tip, the question is this: what people care about what's going on in Ethiopia, or what's going on in Uganda, or what's going on in Nigeria? The reality is the world doesn't care. But here's what you hear a lot of blacks doing. They're picking sides. Israel or Palestine. Israel or Palestine. And I think that if you want to donate to either side or whatever you want to gift on either side, I think that's great. Again, it's good to be a humanitarian if you choose to do so. The question is, though, how much do you care about your own situations with your own group? How much do we care about in the city of Baltimore? We have young black men and women that are in high school who are below the national standard in mathematics. Almost like 80 or 90% of those students in the city of Baltimore. How about in other countries, where we have educational deficits all over Africa? Or we have situations where kids are not performing in Black London. The question is, we tend to be very apathetic about our issues, but I will tell you one thing about Israelis and Palestinians: they're very, very, very caring about their issues. They care more about their issues than we care about ours. We care about everybody else's issues. And that is why Israel is where it's at on the world stage. Everybody's concerned about Israel because Israel is concerned about itself. Palestine. I've even seen Jews protesting for Palestine in government buildings in America because Palestinians care about their issues. But the blacks, the question is, what about us? Do we care about our issues, or are we so interested in everybody else's issues, which keeps us at the bottom everywhere we go? And what I'm trying to say is, we can't be sympathetic to what's going on over in Ukraine and Russia, as well as Israel in the Palestine. But the question remains, do you care about your issues more? Because I doubt the rest of the world cares about your issues. How many times have they shown us that they don't care? And yet we are here caring about other things while we don't care about ourselves. And if we want to get on the world stage where people care about our issues, we have to first start caring about ourselves. We have to first start caring about our black communities as a whole and our black communities in our groups. Then when things happen in Africa or in Black America, then people will actually care about it. But we don't. And we're upset that they don't care about it because we are not concerned about our things. That's why I'm staying out of Israel-Palestine issue. I don't comment on either side, first of all, because I don't know geopolitically the situation. And that's not my business to try to figure out who is wrong or who is right. They will have help on either side. The United States is helping Israel and Palestine. The powers that be will make sure that both of these groups or both of these countries can solve this situation amicably. But I can tell you, it's going to be up to you to solve your own issues in your own group. It's going to be for you to solve your issues in your own communities. It's going to be up to us to work together because we know the world cares less about what our issues are. And until we do that, I believe it is up to us to not get involved on either side. Because number one, there's a story of this lady. This lady had a law job making over $250,000 as an offer after graduating NYU. She publicly came out and pretty much took the side of Palestine and Hamas against Israel. What happened for her? She lost her ability at that law firm to be hired. She would have been better off if she felt that she should donate. She should just give money to Palestine and leave it at that. But now she's out of the money. And there's nobody that can hire her after that, because coming out against Israel is a very costly thing. You have other people like DJ Vlad, who's called out Drake for not saying anything. Black people need to stay out of this on either side because we don't have the power that these other groups have right now. And if your employer happens to be Palestinian or Israel or from Israel and you say something about it, it's going to be you that's fired. So just stay out of it, in my honest opinion. If you want to talk about it amongst yourself, that's the best thing. If you want to go ahead and donate, that's the best thing. But you are more knowledgeable about your issues in your respective countries or in your respective black communities. And that is where I believe your efforts should be spent. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode here on Kenganda. I'm out.